Pop quiz. What is the absolute most depressing video game story you can think of? You probably thought of games like Heavy Rain, The Last of Us, Shadow of the Colossus, or Dark Souls. All fine choices, I assure you, but I believe I have a game that trumps all of them. The Legend of Zelda. Now at this point, you're probably saying one of two things to yourself. Oh my god, this guy's so stupid. Zelda games are all happy and stuff. Unsubscribe. Or, Majora's Mask is pretty depressing, yeah, but it's not really all that depressing. Not when compared to other games. Now let me derail your train of thought and point out that I said The Legend of Zelda. I didn't specify which Zelda game. But obviously, now I will, because let's be honest, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, and almost any other Zelda game are obviously not depressing. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, however, have the most depressing video game story I have ever experienced. Let's break it down, shall we? In Ocarina of Time, you play as Link. Everyone who has played a Zelda game knows that Link is the hero of time and his destiny is to defeat Ganon and bring peace to the world. However, Link doesn't know this. In fact, he thinks he's a simple Kokiri who hasn't gotten a fairy yet. So, Link is a bit of an outcast until the day Navi wakes him up. In fact, it's mentioned by Soraya that Link is bullied by Mido. Ever notice that Link's house is farther away from the ground than anyone else's? So when Link wakes up and sees his very own fairy, he probably feels extreme joy. He can finally be accepted as a true Kokiri and be allowed to join in Kokiri games. Once Link is awake, Navi tells him that the Great Deku Tree wants to see him. Link visits the Great Deku Tree, who shatters this poor kid's world. Not only is Link not a Kokiri, he's a Hylian, whose parents died and left him to live as an outcast with the Kokiri, and he's the hero destined to save the world. What is the first stepping stone on this quest? Inside the Great Deku Tree. The only guardian he has ever known. Here, Link, a mere child, has to kill ravenous plants, sword-wielding lizards, and eventually a giant, demonic, Cyclops spider. Now once that's done, the Great Deku Tree dies. The only father figure Link has ever known dies. Sure, he drops a seed that he gets to see when he's older, but that still doesn't make it any less depressing. Now Link has to brave a volcano to kill a giant lizard, and then a fish's stomach to kill a giant jellyfish. What's his reward when that's done? He's trapped in time for 7 years while Ganondorf destroys Hyrule Castle and its marketplace, lets Volvagia loose to kill Gorons, freezes out the Zora, lets an old unspeakable evil loose under Kakairo Village, and corrupts the very woods he grew up in. As a newly grown adult, he has to visit each of these lands to see the horrors firsthand and try to correct them. Link witnesses most of his friends die before his eyes. Darunia, Ruto, Soraya, Impa, all of them dead. Link's only friends, since being forced into the world at such a young age, dead. Sure, they're preserved as sage spirits in the realm of the gods, but that's nothing more than a limbo of sorts. They can do nothing but watch Link struggle from afar. Once all but one of the sages are safe in the realm of the gods, Link meets with Sheik, who reveals herself to be Zelda in the Temple of Time. Link gets a brief moment of respite, realizing that his childhood crush is safe. And then that respite is crushed as she is kidnapped by Ganondorf. Link goes through hell, getting into Ganondorf's fortress, and eventually slaying him and then Ganon. What is his reward? Being forced to travel back in time to preserve the timeline. Sure, his friends are alive in this time period, but time has to pass, and they have to die. The worst part is that Navi, Link's one surviving friend in all of this, leaves because her job is done. Link follows her into the woods, but gets mugged by the same Skull Kid he gave the Skull Mask to. To top it off, Skull Kid physically disfigures Link by transforming him into a Deku Scrub. Now he is stuck powerless for 3 days watching Termina slowly fall into madness as Skull Kid brings the moon down on his head. On his journey, Link has to transform between 3 different forms to get through all of the dungeons. Each transformation physically hurts Link, and every transformation means Link is inhabiting the body of a deceased being, all while the ever-present moon stares down at the world, easy to see from across the land. Its icy smile breaking his spirit. During these cycles, Link can help the townsfolk, and they will thank and reward him, but it's ultimately useless. They won't remember his help when the time resets. It will be as if Link never helped at all. The festival gets cancelled, the postman has a nervous breakdown, Kafei can't marry his fiancée, the Zora eggs die, an innocent monkey is murdered in the name of justice, etc., etc. Link can make progress, but the world can't. Once the cycle is broken, Majora's Mask is returned to the loathsome mask salesman. Some of the townsfolk continue on with their lives, and Link once again journeys through the Lost Woods in search of Navi. Unfortunately, he never finds her. Lost in the Lost Woods, he becomes a Stalfos, filled with regret. Never to be seen again until Twilight Princess, where he passes on sword techniques to his latest incarnation. Woo! Isn't that a heavy tale? You would never think such a light-hearted, cheery, and colorful game could have such a sad story. But there it is, hidden in plain sight. Truth be told, I never noticed it until I played through Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the 3DS. As a child, I was elated when the game ended and the credits rolled. I defeated Ganon. I stopped the moon from falling. I helped the townsfolk. But when you really pay attention to the story, it's all there. And it hurts. At any rate, I would encourage you to play through Zelda and see what I'm talking about. Then leave a like and comment on your opinions on the matter. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Boyfriend out.